International migration and the dealing of political refugees is one of the most significant but poorly managed macro issues of the 21st century. Resolved, this House believes that the borders of nation-states should not prevent the movement of refugees. In terms of topicality, this debate will reference the United States federal government as the House and specifically Syrian refugees as the group of refugees. In 2016, the United Nations identified 13.5 million Syrian refugees requiring humanitarian assistance, of which more than 6 million are internally displaced within Syria, and over 4.8 million of refugees are outside of Syria. In January 2017, the UNHCR accounted for almost 5 million registered refugees. Refugees help the economies in which they settle. According to the IMF, GDP of the EU as a whole could be lifted by 0.05, 0.09, and 0.13% in 2015, 2016, and 2017, respectively. In the long run, the economic impact could be larger, but that will depend on the integration of refugees into the labor market. Assuming this is successful, by 2020, the level of GDP could be 0.25% higher for the EU as a whole, and between 0.5 and 1% higher in Germany, Austria, and Sweden, the IMF estimates. America can also capture this growth. One main opposition to the refugee crisis within America with regard to Syrian refugees is the safety of American citizens. Many feel that hiding within the population of displaced refugees are those with the intention of harming America, radical terrorists. However, the reality is the United States has resettled 784,000 Syrian refugees since September 11, 2001. Exactly 3 resettled refugees have been arrested for planning terrorist activities. It is worth noting 2 were not planning an attack in the United States, and the plans of the 3rd were barely credible, according to migrationpolicy.org. Furthermore, in the United States, the refugee resettlement program is the least likely avenue for terrorists to choose. Refugees who are selected for resettlement in the United States go through a painstaking multi-layered review before they are accepted, according to migrationpolicy.org. Susan F. Martin, who served as the director for the Institute of Study of International Migration and the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University, states in her article that there must be strong political leadership to arrive at the effective and humane responses for the refugee crisis. She goes on to state that there must be 3 forms of inter-country solidarity to effectively manage this crisis. These include financial, geographic, and political solidarity. Financial. Countries share the burden of helping poorer countries receive refugees. Wealthier nations often support humanitarian organizations working on the crises, but resources to support refugees are nowhere near the level they need to be. Geographic. Countries share the responsibility of physically accepting refugees. The core of the refugee system is non-refoulement, meaning countries do not return refugees to where they would be persecuted. This includes resettlement programs. The UNHCR reported that in 2015, 960,000 refugees were needed of resettlement, while the number of resettlement slots worldwide only amounted to 80,000. Political. At the political level, countries can work together to address the root of proximate cause for large-scale displacement. This may be the most difficult path since it often means intervening in conflicts that cause mass movements. Political leaders need to educate their constituents about the importance of crisis because forcing the return of displaced peoples to where they are persecuted does not only violate international law but also violates every principle of human decency. America needs to address this crisis head-on, and all 3 forms of solidarity are needed: financial, geographic, and political.